Hi pals. My video for this week is I'm ranking some girly horror used relatively loosely, shows and films, because we are in the Halloween season. You're welcome. So let's get on with it. So the first one on my list is Yo. It's Yo. It's you because I feel like this is kind of base, simplistic girly horror. It's about a man. It's about a man who stalks and kills people and worse. Like I did stop watching after a while. I think after Love died, I stopped watching because in my personal opinion, which is correct, I think she should have killed him. I think she should have killed him. So I stopped watching after that. I may dip back in at some point, who knows? But I decided to put that in would watch again because I do find it very watchable. I did read the first novel, not gonna lie, hard to get into, but once you sort of got into it, it was very similar to the show, just some of the actual things that happened were different because in the book there was something about this cabin and like a really snowy period slash place, which is where Peach took, what was her name? Beck? Was that her name? So like Beck was there with Peach and he stalked them there. I think he also got like hit by a car and shit. Like he nearly died. So like there were a lot of things that didn't happen in the show, but it still had that feeling of you kind of want to root for him. And I think there's always like small and subtle things that you notice more on multiple watches or you notice more things in multiple watches. So I would definitely list this as would watch again. I think especially the first I think the first two seasons were really good. The third season I was less intrigued by, especially with how it ended and the fact that there's been like what two more seasons after that. That man should be fucking dead. He should be fucking dead. Next up, I have Midsummer. I only watched this one recently because, for one, couldn't find it anywhere when I finally decided I was going to watch it. Couldn't find it anywhere on streaming platforms or sailing the high seas of the internet. Couldn't find it anywhere. But then one day it just was back on. I don't know where I watched it in the end, but it was just back on streaming platforms. And you know me, especially with what I just posted recently, where I was talking about what I felt about Thunderbolts. I'm like a little bit of a weird fangirl at the moment for Florence Pugh because I just think Florence is really good, really good at performing and actually performs different characters, which I feel like is kind of an underrepresented type of actor these days, especially in Hollywood. Everyone usually kind of plays the same roles over and over again, just with different names or in different places. Whereas there's very few actors, I feel like these days, actually develop and get into a character. And I think she's one of those people. Obviously, Yelena especially is kind of like quite a character role anyway. I don't think anyone could get away with just performing as themselves, you know? So, but I put Midsummer in want to own because right, so like trying to explain this film. So like she has a really shitty boyfriend who has a bunch of really shitty friends, one of whom is Swedish. Already a red flag. No, I'm kidding. But he is taking all of his friends away to Sweden to meet his family and shit. And some of them are writing dissertations or what the fuck, I don't care. You know, writing academic shit on this man's people, I guess. Even though Florence Pugh's character has this shitty boyfriend and he has these friends, he's also really shitty to his friends. Because the guy who used to play Chidi is in this. He was the one originally with the idea to write about the Swedish guy's people. Florence Pugh's shitty white boyfriend turns up and is like,
actually, I'm gonna do that now.
either way, spoilers, everybody dies except Florence Pugh and most of the Swedish people. Florence is accepted and unfortunately indoctrinated into a cult because, you know, on the one hand it's like, well, you know, the guys for the most part a lot of them deserved what they got, i.e., torture and murder. Because what the fuck is his name? Like, there's some really random castings in this film, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the guy who was in The Bear and The Maze Runner, who literally used to just be some kid on E4's School of Comedy or some shit. I always forget his fucking name, though. He's also a brilliant actor who I think is actually a character actor, changes how he performs his roles. But he's in it too, and he's an absolute dickhead. So yeah, like on the one hand, you're like, yeah, they had it coming. They only had themselves to blame. But then also you're like, fuck. This little blonde white lady has just been indoctrinated into a cult of very white, a lot of blonde, Aryan-esque people. I think that if I had any brain cells, could definitely sit and like discuss the different possibilities of meanings and analysis of that film. So that's why I've put it in I Want to Own It, because it's a film that I actually like. I've only watched it did I watch it twice? I've definitely watched it at least once. It's also aesthetically iconic too. It's aesthetically iconic. I fucking love films that care about their aesthetics. So, you know, there's that part where it looks incredible. It looks very distinctive, but also, yeah, there's so many layers and different aspects to this plot, because so many things just fucking happen all at once. That there's definitely a lot that I could just like sink my teeth into to analyze, and I'm sure plenty of people have already done it who you know, weren't late to the party like me. But sorry, that's unfortunately part of how my autism works. It's just you want me to enjoy something with everybody else? Disgusting. No, I don't think so. Which one was this? Oh, I didn't even include that one. Never mind. Never mind. Did I? No, I don't think I did. A Simple Favor is my next one. I can barely remember this plot, I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to Google it. I watched it. I don't know if I don't quite know how I felt about it. It's also apparently having a follow-up film. I don't know if I'm pleased or anxious about that idea, but it's kind of gay. God, can't deny that. So, right, what does the synopsis say? Stephanie, Anna Kendrick, is a widowed single mother who runs a vlog with crafts and recipes. I don't remember that part at all. Am I okay? I don't remember that at all. And then Emily, Blake Lively, is a busy working mother, a PR director for a fashion company whose son, Nikki, attends the same elementary school as Stephanie's son, Miles. Stephanie is an over-eager parent and volunteers for all the school events, and the other parents resent that this makes them look bad. Meanwhile, Emily is never even found near any of the school events. Stephanie meets Emily when she comes to the school to pick up Nikki. Emily and Stephanie become fast friends, arranging play dates for the boys. Emily is a flamboyant mental illness. Emily is flamboyant, and every possession in her life has an adventurous story behind it, while Stephanie is a plain and simple housewife and lives for the sake of her son. Stephanie's husband died in a car accident, and her brother Chris was in the passenger seat. They trade confessions, and Stephanie admits that as a teenager she had sex with her Huh? I don't remember that either. That's terrifying. With her half brother Chris. Is this the inspiration for White Lotus season 3? At her father's funeral. Okay, I've included this film, but like this synopsis is not, it's not memorable to me at all. Like, she disappears, she pulls a Gone Girl. She might not have done, but like she disappears, and Stephanie uses her like followers to help try and find her. I just vaguely remembered Stephanie kind of getting too close to Emily's husband. Emily like being really pissed about it for obvious reasons, but then also Emily and Stephanie having really gay energy. I don't remember the rest of this shit. I remember the pathological liar shit though, that Emily was just a lying liar. I originally put this under probably won't watch again, but good. I might have to watch this one again. I literally don't remember any of this plot, and it feels like this film could not have been long enough to include everything I've just read. Everything I've just read, and then also more. So, anyway, moving on. Moving on. What's that? Okay, The Haunting of Bly Manor. This one I have I have watched and do mostly remember. Again, this was an actress that I was a bit of a weird fangirl about for a while, but then she kind of disappeared, which is very sad to me. But yeah, Victoria something or other, she was great. She was so beautiful and she was such a great actress. But her character is trying to find a new life whilst also running away from this weird, spooky thing that seems to be following her everywhere. So she ends up getting a job as an au pair in London, I think. Either way, she's in England. And it's this, he's the uncle of these kids. Their parents died. Blah, blah, blah. So she goes to live there, and basically the whole place is also fucking haunted. Everybody there is actually dead, I'm pretty sure. But also it's gay. So, like, that's the important part. It's gay. So I put this under would watch again, because I did start watching it again, like maybe last year or the year before. Definitely a rewatchable show for me. Next up is Bird Box. Again, don't really remember a lot about this film. This one I also sort of get confused with a couple of other films that are basically like types of horror films where you have to stop using a particular sense, I think. So this one, they can't look at the things. They can't look at the things. Oh, it's a post-apocalyptic world? I don't remember it being a post-apocalyptic world, but okay. Mallory informs two young children that they are going down the river in a rowboat. She sternly instructs them not to remove their blindfolds or they will die. The film then cuts between the events of the start of the pandemic. Oh, no, it's a pandemic one. I don't remember it being a pandemic one, but okay. And the events of present. 5 years earlier, a pregnant Mallory was visited by her sister Jessica. A news broadcast reported unexplained mass suicides spreading across Europe and Asia. After a prenatal checkup, Mallory witnesses a woman smashing her head repeatedly into the hospital window. Other people start acting the same way, causing panic and chaos. Mallory and her sister leave, hurriedly driving away from the hospital. Her sister sees something inexplicable, which drives her insane, so she deliberately crashes the car. She then intentionally walks in front of a speeding truck. Yeah, they can't look at whatever the thing is. So they spend a lot of the time in this film blindfolded when they're like outside of buildings, especially. So yeah, if they are inside buildings, they have to cover all of the windows as well and blindfold themselves whenever they're leaving. There's a new survivor that arrives, Olympia, who's pregnant. One of the other people, oh, for God's sake, these aren't plots or these aren't summaries. These are like detailed spoiler plots. I didn't want this. Either way, Mallory and Olympia both go into labor at the same time. Basically, everything goes to shit. They had their little group, everything goes to shit. And then they have to go find somewhere else that's safe. And the only people left are pretty much Tom, Mallory, and the children who they just call boy and girl. So there's this safe community hidden in the forest that they have to try to get to, accessible by boat along the river. As they leave their house, a group of unblinded survivors attack them. Tom dies. Anyway, yeah, they get there in the end. But the community is based in a school, a former school for the blind, which of course it is, because it's built for people who aren't able to see or aren't able to see much. So it's pretty great for this kind of setup. So with this one, where did I put it? I put it in would watch again because, I mean, there's quite a lot of aspects to this one that I think are interesting, particularly this idea of, you know, a lot of horror, a lot of dystopian things, a lot of honestly superhero films and shit too are very much centered around disabled experiences, even if it's not necessarily explicitly disabled characters. Because I mean, this one is literally about not being able to fucking see to then have to survive. And also, I love Sandra Bullock. I can't fucking lie. I fucking love that woman. I think she's a fantastic actress too. But she does basically play the same person over and over again. So yeah, I put that one in. Would watch again. The next one on here is Don't Worry, Darling, which is basically just a Stepford Wives reimagining. Initially, you think we're back in like the 50s or 60s in like a small, deserted, literally desert suburb. It feels very Sims to Strangeville, Strangetown, whichever one it is. And you think everything's great, you know? So, again, Florence Pugh, we follow her. She has nothing to do all day besides cook, clean, drink alcohol, gossip with the other women in the town. And then when her husband comes back from work after 8 hours every day, they are like the most perfect, ridiculously in love couple. She one day sees one of the neighbors' wives kill herself, or like, yeah, no, she does, after being chased as well. Like people were chasing her. And then she basically finds out that all of that was a simulation and she's been forced into a simulation by her boyfriend in the real world, which is basically just our world as we know it. She was, I can't remember if she was a doctor or a nurse, I think a doctor in the real world. And Harry Styles in the real world is just a really gross incel man who Florence Pugh's character literally should have left ASAP. He's really gross. Like it. What I find funny is in the real world of this film, Harry Styles' character has an American accent, but in the simulation, he's British. I don't know. I just thought that was amusing. And yeah, again, I mean, we know there was lots of drama around this film. That's kind of part of why I didn't watch it for a long time. Also, nobody could really explain to me what the fuck this film was. And if someone had just sort of said it's basically a Stepford Wives like reimagining, I would have at least understood what that meant. But yeah, so Florence Pugh is trying to wake up the other wives. She finds out one of the other wives is actually there by her own choice because in the real world, her children are dead. Whereas at least living in this, alternate reality thing, she gets to continue living in a world where her children are alive. So she's like, yeah, I'm sorry. I am part of the problem. I'm part of the reason why this exists and why you're here and you're trapped here. I'm not going to leave because of this. Makes sense. However, I feel bad about the role I have played and the fact that I have lied to you. So go be free. So yeah, it's a lot of just like watching her trying to escape this place and destroy it as well. So that is also in Would Watch Again. It is quite long though. I think in some parts took so long to get through that I was like, oh my god, yeah, especially the beginning. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bit dull for a while until it actually started to get into the plot. The next film I am talking about is Heathers. Look, it's iconic, okay, but I don't I don't like it as much as the musical. The musical has such bops in it. Freeze your brain. And obviously, it's a Winona Ryder classic. It's not a bad film by any means, but I don't know. I just think the musical makes it campy, and that makes it a lot more enjoyable. But basically, this is just a film about a girl who's not like the other girls, who can't remember if she's recently moved to that school or not. I don't think so. But basically, she's like, I've had enough of being fucking bullied all the time, so I'm going to go offer the Heathers my services of being able to forge handwriting to become an honorary Heather, or at least just like to be left alone by everyone bullying me. So they then kind of adopt her into their little group. They make her look cuter, bring her to parties and stuff. Then, the popular guys start fancying her. But also at the very beginning of all this, a new boy came to town, JD, who is just kind of like an unstable white supremacist in a lot of ways. Incel dude. Like, obviously the jocks in this film are not appealing, but neither is he. Like the only difference is he feigns artsiness and has a different, slightly more pleasing aesthetic to more alternative people. But he's also just like a terrible shit, with a terrible shit of a father, just like the other guys had. Like, they are the same. They are the same man. They just they're the same man in different fonts. So yeah, he then convinces / starts killing a bunch of these kids at school. Initially, Veronica's like, yeah, all for it. And then she's like, oh, actually, I have realized what the fuck we're doing, and this is really messed up. I don't want to be doing this. You're really scary, actually, JD. Please put the gun away. And then he's like, I'm going to bomb the school. I think in the end, he dies and she gets everybody out of the school. So I put that in. Probably won't watch again, but good. Like, I'd probably watch it if anybody I know wanted to watch it and wanted to watch it with people, like, doing a watch party. But I probably wouldn't personally choose to watch the film again. However, I would happily go and watch the musical again. Then the piece de resistance. Can't speak. The piece de the. No, fuck it. I can't be asked. Jennifer's Body, an iconic film from my youth. I think I liked it when it came out, but it was underappreciated, especially considering there was such a huge cast. Because at the time, like, a lot of these, especially like, the main three, Needy, Jennifer, and is his name Chuck? They were like huge actors at that point in time in like 2009. So like that is why it surprises me that this wasn't as big of a bop as it was expected to be. I mean, I know the plot and stuff is niche, but like, I don't know. Like, I get why it's a cult classic for us now. But yeah, so like Jennifer and Needy go to a gig they're not supposed to go to. They're too young to go. But Jennifer manages to get to speak to the band after the show, and she lies about being a virgin. She is not a virgin. And they are looking for a virgin to sacrifice. Because for some reason, they are Satanists or some shit. I don't know. They're into dark magic. So they want to cast some kind of dark blood magic, sacrificing a virgin so that they can become really famous. And so that part works. They become really famous after they sacrifice her, but she comes back to life and is basically like a succubus. So then she's going around killing all of the boys. It kind of starts with she's killing a lot of the boys that kind of deserve it. But then she's also killing the nicer boys, the boys who haven't done anything wrong, haven't harmed any women or girls, like the emo kid. Like, okay, I haven't watched this in a while, so this is off the top of my head. I may not be entirely correct. But the emo kid, Chuck as well in particular, but also it gets a bit gay in the middle somewhere, and she has that really iconic line of like, I swing both ways, so bye con. And yeah, Needy is trying to stop her, but doesn't stop her before she kills Needy's boyfriend Chuck in the most disgusting pool. Like an abandoned pool on prom or homecoming or some shit. And then somehow, I can't remember. Oh yeah, Needy does kill her, or like she thinks she's killed her. She's then arrested and goes to prison. She did not kill Jennifer's body. Same, she did not kill Jennifer. I almost think this film should have a follow-up because, Amanda Seyfried and Megan Fox are still really big actors at the moment. I mean, Amanda Seyfried is bringing back Mamma Mia #3, apparently. Was that necessary? How many more Mamma Mias are there to go? I love the original Mamma Mia. Don't get me wrong. Fucking love the original Mamma Mia. So yeah, it's iconic. It's iconic. It's gay. It's canonically gay. And I would speculate there's some, commentary on white feminism in there. But like I said, it's been a while since I've watched it, so I don't really remember. But I put this under I want to own. I'm pretty sure I do own a copy of this, so it kind of had to go there because I don't want to get rid of it. So, and the next one, what is that? Gone Girl. It's Gone Girl. I put Gone Girl in Would Watch Again because I think it's somewhat similar to You, where you have one perception when you start or when you first watch that film. Then you watch it again and you're kind of like, there's something not right with this man. But the basic gist is, can't remember her name, haven't watched this in a long time. Leading lady, whatever the fuck her name is, disappears herself because her husband's a shit. And he is. He like sucks. He sucks big time. But then she does a lot of really fucked up things. Some of them I'm like, hell yeah, girl. Other ones I'm like, ooh, ugh. Like fakes a she fakes being R-worded by her ex and also murders him. And he seems okay. Like he doesn't seem like the worst person in the world, but also I can't remember those details. But basically, her husband's been shot into the public eye, and even like he's like the funniest part of this film is because like he clearly does not like his wife that much. I think he was going to leave her, and that's why she disappeared herself. So he has to pretend that he doesn't hate her just so that people don't hate him in the process of trying to find her. And yeah, so like she dyes her hair, pretends to be somebody else for a while, and then she manages to fake assaults on herself plenty of times. There are a few close calls as well where bad things do actually happen to her in the process. But like overall, it's sort of like a teaching a shitty man a lesson, but also going way too far with it. I don't remember how it ends. I put it under would watch again because I probably would. Just out of curiosity. Just to like remember. Then we have Black Swan, which I have seen so I've seen so many times. This was like some OG girly horror shit. This was girl blogging shit. This was hell as a teenage girl shit. This is one of the aspects of like teen girl Tumblr that I was on for many years, and one of the things that I would probably revisit if I did a video revisiting popular media of that kind of both like a mixture of that time period of Tumblr, but also a lot of that's still popular now. But yeah, let me know if you would like to see me explore that sort of era of Tumblr and Tumblr media that was like glorified, people were obsessed with. But yeah, so like I have watched this film so many times. I also think I did write an essay on it for university at one point. Why? Not a clue, mate. No idea. I simply do not remember. But again, right, what's the gist of this one? So, God, whatever her name is, leading person is a professional ballet dancer, but is never chosen to play Swan of Swan Lake because whoever plays the Swan has to be both good and bad Swan. And while she embodies the good Swan very well, very easily, very naturally, she does not embody the Black Swan, which is basically just hedonistic. Especially in the context of this film. So in comes Mila Kunis, who gets that role because even though she's not quite as technically good as Natalie Portman, that's her fucking name. You know, massive actors, and I can't remember their names. Like same. So yeah, whilst Mila Kunis's character is not quite as good technically as Natalie Portman's character, she embodies Black Swan perfectly. And she dances with flow, and like really embodies the dance, whereas Natalie Portman's character doesn't. And basically the choreographer is always trying to fuck everybody. He's like Natalie Portman's character wants him to want to fuck her, and he's not interested until she starts kind of going crazy. She starts going crazy, experiencing a bunch of psychosis. She has an abusive mother as well, who is terrifying. And again, gay stuff. Gay things. One gay sex dream specifically. But yeah, she works and works and works to get this role whilst also having crazy eating disorder as well that's also worsened by her mother. The previous Black Swan, or like there's this like prestigious ballet dancer that their choreographer used to work with and date and whatever, who is played by none other than say my name, Winona Ryder, that's the one. Winona Ryder. She's also fucking crazy. She's crazy and really unlikable. And basically it's just a gist of like, hey, these are the patterns that keep fucking happening because of our shitty industries and the shitty men in them. At the end of it all, Natalie Portman's character manages to fucking kill herself, I think. I can't remember how she how she injured herself to be bleeding at the very end. I can't remember if that's from the fall. I think it was before the fall because it just got worse while she was on stage, leading up to the climax where the black swan dies. So then also she dies, but also you don't actually see that. It's just that's where it ends. And it's the euphoria of having accomplished this dream, even at the detriment to everything in her life. So, if you need to know, I've watched that film many times as a teenager. I'm fine. I'm okay. So I put that in, would watch again because I've watched it so many times and would probably watch it again because also Mila Kunis is really hot, even though she sucks. She sucks as a person. The next one is Scream Queens, which I started watching this year. It's one that I have been aware of since it came out. It also had like a bit of a Tumblr moment, but I don't think I had access to like wherever it was streaming at that period of time. And also I've been watching it this year, and it's honestly pretty shit. Aesthetically, very good. Aesthetically, very well thought out. A lot of money went into that, but it's bad. It's kind of like a parody horror film, but as a TV series. Like they just so many things happen that just don't that aren't necessary and are really dragged out, and that's why it's so fucking boring. It's so dragged out. Like initially, I was finding it funny and interesting. You know, they're taking the piss out of the archetypes of these different characters. The only people who are, to be honest, the only person who is any kind of sane is Kiki Palmer's character, I think. Everybody else is like absolutely unhinged, makes no sense, is ridiculous. Garrett, that's not his name in this, but also Eddie from Dawson's Creek. He's in it as the dad of like the main character. There's so many different plot lines with this as well that's it gets it a bit confused. That plotline one is that we go back to the 80s to this sorority where a girl died in the bathtub at a party because she gave birth and like died giving birth in the bathtub without any medical care. That baby, nobody knows what happened to it. I don't think it ended up actually being the main character's mum. But her mum was in the sorority and died when she was very young. So like she joins this sorority, very Sydney White-esque, to get close to her dead mother because she couldn't, actually get to know her mother in life. So this sorority has kind of fallen in its ranks. Nobody wants to be in this sorority anymore because of how fucking horrible the girl leading it is. And I think something happened that like really fucked up their whole thing. And so they had to accept a bunch of losers and freaks, basically. One of them is deaf. I don't really have a lot to say on that, but I just vaguely remember one of the girls being deaf. One of them, I think, was autistic as well. And, not great. It's not even great in like a funny parody way. It's just kind of ableist. It's just ableism, really. And yeah, I don't know. It was funny initially, but it kept just getting more and more ridiculous. And like I said, the pacing was awful because they just kept doing more and more things. Like even Nick Jonas is in this. Why? No idea. Nick Jonas is also gay, but also I think one of the murderers. Because present day, there is somebody dressed up as the school's mascot. And God, who the fuck? It wasn't the guy from You, but it was someone else. And that reminds me a little bit of Easy A, which the guy from You was in. And he was the mascot in that film. Oh, also it's a Ryan Murphy film show. So like, are we surprised? It sucks. No. Say my name, say my name. Leah Michelle's in it too. Oh, there's a guy who loses both his arms in one of the earlier attacks, and then that's the reason why he ends up dying later on, is because he doesn't have any arms to fight off the guy or climb up the ladder to escape. So Taylor Lautner's in this. When was he in that? Dr. Cassidy Cascade? Did I not watch that far? I don't remember Taylor Lautner being in this. Or John Stamos. Christy Alley was in this show. Like, this show again has like crazy cast. I am so confused. I also can't see the guy. Is this him? Is it Pete Martinez? Oh, it is. Who was this guy? Where do I know him from? What was he in? Say my name, say my name. He was in Jane the Virgin for one episode, so I don't think it's that. What the fuck do I know him from? Mean Girls 2, maybe. Pretty Little Liars, maybe. Alex Santiago for 5 episodes, and I think I did have a Pretty Little Liars like moment, so it could be that. Yeah, it's so weird. I recognize Diego Bonita. Bonita. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and
That's my type. That's my type.
he's very cute. So he plays that role of like what Penn Bagley played. Or like that's the vibe it gives. Yeah, so like because it's a parody horror show, they like shove so many different horror film cliches and memorable moments and tropes into this show. But I used to watch so many parody films because they were really popular at one point in my youth around like 2009. And like, there was literally a selection of parody horror films based off of Scream, but obviously as well other horror films called Scary Movie, and they were really good. Thank you, Wayans Brothers. They knew how to write. Because yeah, Ryan Murphy does not fucking know how to write, especially parody. But yeah, so the horror film in my life is my body. So yeah, I put it in, I get it, but I didn't like it much. So like, I get what they were trying to do. I get what they were trying to recreate, but they were like 6 years too late. Because when this was in 2016, right? Yeah, 2015 to 16. They were 6 years too late for this genre, but also they were in the wrong format. I don't think parody works as a TV show. It's too many hours. It's too long. So like that's why I also didn't fucking finish it, because it just carried on and on and on. And some characters came back to life that really shouldn't have done. Some of them died way too early, considering they were funnier characters. A lot of characters were very underutilized. The first few episodes were good and funny, but the longer I was trying to watch this, I was like, oh my god, when does this end? Because films are like what, 2 hours maximum, or should be. How many episodes were there of this? Too many. The next one I've put on here is the Stepford Wives. I think this was the 2004 film. I do want to go and watch. I think there's the one from the 70s, I think. So this is one with Nicole Kidman. I'm not going to go over Stepford Wives. General gist is there's this weird suburb men somehow drag their wives to, and all their wives are successful, brilliant, smart women making all the money, or like most of the money, and their husbands are all ugly fuck ass bitches who have like an ego problem because their wives are the money earners and the smart ones and the ones everybody wants to be around, blah blah blah. And they, obviously the women have social capabilities these men don't have. Again, you find out it was created by a woman. The man leading the thing was a robot, which I think was the case in the remake version with Florence Pugh. However, this one is a little bit more like this one is a little bit less scary because it is more of like that early 2000s. This is just kind of a weird plot comedy kind of vibe. This was more humorous all the way through. But obviously the plot, the idea is terrifying. It's terrifying. Oh, and it was also really funny that there was also a gay couple who were like one of the main people in this, that won the Republican of the two who was in politics, and less gay. So yeah, I like the inclusion of that because it is something I wonder about, is like, oh, how would they do this plot if it was gay or if this was, if they were trans or whatever. So they did show us what this looks like with a gay couple as well. Yeah, the husband who brought them there was a Republican politician, and he basically then turns his husband into a Republican politician through the brainwashing process and stuff. Makes him less gay, less flamboyant, less camp, because that's the thing that he keeps saying to his husband, is that he's embarrassed by his husband because he's too gay. Bro, shut the fuck up. So I put this in, would watch again, because I've only watched it the once, but I enjoyed it. Fall of the House of Usher. Low-key, I kind of hate the fucking title because I'm never sure where the ofs go. I said probably won't watch again, but good. So like, again, I wouldn't personally just watch it alone by myself unless I had a purpose, or like other people I knew wanted to do like a watch party thing with it. Basically, man who can't keep his dick in his pants, has a million children with a million different women. He and his sister have loads of money and fame in the world because of some like promise to a ghost or like Satan or some, I don't know, a demon they made. And then the curse that they have on them means that all of their children will die in horrific ways because of the awful things that they have done as well. I think everybody looks really slay, so automatically very gay. I think one of the kids is gay, or like a couple of them are gay or bisexual. Yeah, like a few of them are gay. The sister didn't have any children because she didn't want to inflict that pain on those children. So it is kind of all about, again, men men doing things for their own satisfaction, not giving a shit about what that means to any of the people in his life, including the children they have made. So yeah, probably won't watch again, but good. Again, I love the aesthetics of those shows too, because some of them are a bit more subtle, but some of them are so like this season, gay, very slay. And again, I really love the cast of actors in it. And of course, the next one is Yellow Jackets. Go and watch my video where I was talking about gay stuff to do with Yellow Jackets. I can't remember what exactly I said, but gay things. So I put this in, would watch again. I have, however, started to like the show less and less. Obviously, one of my favorite actors left the show, who was playing one of my favorite characters, which was Natalie. Yeah, Juliette Lewis, I think. I can't really find an official like source or reasoning, but there's speculation that she left the show because she was sold a different show pretty much than what it ended up being, particularly her character. I have my own criticisms of the show and the writing around that as well, in particular, because yeah, it goes from talking about how she is this addict in her adult life, and in season 1 both her adult self and her teenage self is really obsessed with Travis. They have this on again off again relationship that's really toxic, etc. That's what we're told in season 1. Season 2 and 3, Natalie and Travis are not even slightly together in the past timeline. Like, they barely interact for those seasons, and it makes no sense. So, like, again, aesthetically incredible. I love 90s aesthetics. I love shows and films based in the 90s or that were created in the 90s. I enjoy these two timelines. I enjoy seeing the before the trauma / during the trauma and after the trauma and stuff like that. And I enjoy the speculation of, is it paranormal or is it just mental illness love? I did put it in, would watch again, but I probably wouldn't go to the effort of trying to find a DVD version to keep, because I just think the writing has kind of gone a bit shit. I don't think they planned it very well. They also keep killing off all the best characters. Natalie's dead, Van's dead, Lottie's dead, and like, these are all the ones that also made it to adulthood too. So yeah, it's all a bit poo-poo at the moment. I'm waiting for the next season, which I hope is the final season. I think it needs to have an end soon, because it's kind of getting a little bit out of the original point of the show as well. It kind of went from this thriller horror-esque show to kind of a detective show, which is not why I watched this. Then next up is The Craft. Literally not even going to go into it. Iconic film. I put it in want to own, because even though, I haven't really watched it in a long time, again, made in the 90s, so very iconic 90s aesthetics, all about women girl power, a lot of very progressive themes for a 90s film as well, particularly parts about racism, misogyny, and ableism as well, considering one of the 3 original ones has, I can't remember what it is exactly. I think she has burns on her face. It's either burns or like a skin condition, and she's treated really badly because of that. And then they've kind of been led astray to be bad, even though a lot of what they did I'd probably do too. So yeah, I put it in want to own because it's a classic. I think it's incredible. This one I watched but didn't really particularly enjoy much. Promising Young Woman. Can't super remember the exact plot, but basically this woman was, I think, again, a lot of aesthetic choices were very cool. I like how her character was styled and stylized. Her life is kind of like a sham. It's a bit of a state. She's a 30-year-old medical school dropout, works in a coffee shop, but spends her evenings going out to bars and clubs pretending to be drunk and then confronting those who attempt to take advantage of her sexually, which is kind of a funny concept. So this is why I did put it in. I get it, but I didn't like it much because I get why a lot of people enjoyed this, but there were just some parts of it that I personally was not enjoying as a viewer, but I could still appreciate it as somebody who fucking ingests so much media. Right, here we go. It wasn't her, but it's gradually revealed that Cassie quit medical school after the public rape of her lifelong best friend, who subsequently dropped out and when her rapist was cleared of wrongdoing. She becomes acquainted with someone she remembers back in school, and he convinces her to go on a date. He then reveals that the is soon to get married, and she's really pissed about that because he's found success and happiness even after committing something so awful to somebody who then ended up ending their life. So then she basically orchestrates a revenge plot against them. There are some really crazy elements to it though that I did not enjoy generally. So that's the overall gist. So yeah, personally I put it in. I get it, but I didn't like it much. So I may watch it again at some point, but it's not something that I was like, hell yeah, let's go and watch this again. And my last one for this video anyway, because obviously there's so many other ones that I would maybe consider under girly horror, is Ratched. Nurse Ratched. I don't know. I can't remember if it's just Ratched or Nurse Ratched. Again, I put this in, I get it, but I didn't like it much. Aesthetically, very well done. Basically, there's a couple of kids who are not actually related, but they see each other and treat each other like siblings. I don't know how to describe this fucking show. I'm so tired. There's also an older version of this too that I haven't seen. So if you think I should watch the older version, let me know. And again, it's Ryan Murphy. I think he's the reason why I hate a lot of these shows, because he used to be really good when it was early American Horror Story. The longer he worked on American Horror Story, the worse it got. And I think everything he makes now is the same shit, really. It's just the same problems where it's the pacing goes askew. There's so many plot lines that don't really connect or make any sense together. It's like he's trying to just confuse you to make up for the fact that he hasn't thought any of this through. So the one I watched was in 2020. I think it is just Ratched. Oh, apparently it's a prequel to Ken Casey's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and subsequent 1975 film adaptation, and follows the younger life of Nurse Ratched, the prototypical heartless and corrupt psychiatric nurse. She's gay as well, for one. Explores what events in Mildred's life preceding the original work led her to become so cold, and the concept that monsters are made, not born. It's a suspenseful drama series that tells the origin story of asylum nurse Mildred Ratched. In 1947, Mildred arrives in Northern California to seek employment at a leading psychiatric hospital where new and unsettling experiments have begun on the human mind. On a clandestine mission, Mildred presents herself as the perfect image of what a dedicated nurse should be, but the wheels are always turning, and as she begins to infiltrate the mental health care system and those within it, Mildred's stylish exterior belies a growing darkness that has long been smouldering within, revealing that true monsters are made, not born. I feel like that does not fucking describe the plot literally at all. But she's there because her brother has been arrested for murder, and it's either he goes for psychiatric care or is put on death row. So she's trying to get him in psychiatric care, so at least he stays alive and she can be with him. They have a weird sort of semi-incestuous sibling relationship, which, you know, it's still weird even though they're not actually related, because as well you think they are for like most of the season, and they have slept together in the past, and she's like, I'm not doing that again. When he tries to sleep with her again later on, he is kind of like a weird, creepy, crazy womanizer, loves to sleep with women but also loves to murder them. He murdered a bunch of priests, I think, vicars, whatever the fuck they are, because one of them, I think, was his father. Either was his father or they like his mother and whatever, and she died or blah blah blah, and that's why he was an orphan, and that's why him and Mildred were besties. They met in one of their orphanages that they grew up in, and they were like going to take care of each other forever, and then he kicks off to Crazy Town. She's not even a nurse, but is so good at talking herself into places. They think she is a nurse. Eventually, it kind of ends a lot better, but there are lots of characters that get killed that it's sad, honestly. There's a police officer whilst a cab. I felt bad for him in particular because of his situation. There was a black woman with, God, did she have DID or schizophrenia? Either one. It was probably just called schizophrenia anyway because it's 1947. There was a poor woman who was really struggling with different personalities, basically having a different alters, coming forward and doing things, and she wouldn't remember anything at all. And one of the actual nurses, who was a guy, was one of the twins from Desperate Housewives. Haven't seen him in anything for a long time, so it was nice to see him there. But also, he prevented from doing a lot of things because he is also has like, oh, I'm sorry, I really can't remember what the right terminology is for this, but he also has like facial scarring because he was in the war. So that that's the reason why a lot of the staff prevent him from doing certain things, because he looks scary because of his is it, I think it's facial difference or something like that. So even though he is a very lovely character and a very loving, kind nurse, he is prevented from doing, you know, the best work he can do because of how he looks and how the people in charge perceive him and the patients' families perceive him. There's also a woman there who's there for being a lesbian. Just want to throw that in there. But yes, there's some like covert lesbianism going on, which in some ways is quite nice because we usually see a lot of gay men in these kinds of medias rather than gay women. They didn't exist kind of vibes, you know, like, was it Queen Elizabeth or Queen Victoria was like, women can't fuck other women, don't be ridiculous. And that's why it was never technically illegal in the UK. But anyway, yeah, like I am glad that I watched it, but it was quite slow as well at times. It was quite laborious to get through. So I put it in, I get it, but I didn't like it that much. So this is what I have so far. Let me know other things that I should include or talk about, because obviously there's so many other things. Girly horror is a very vague, newer definition of things, so there's a lot of things that could be included under that bracket. There's lots of things that were coming to mind as I was doing this anyway, and I also was this was pre-prepared. Always the way. That's it for me this week. Don't forget to go and watch my other videos. I also did a ranking video on medical dramas if you're into that, but if you're not into that, you can go and watch my video on Yellow Jackets, for example. Support the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos, watch my videos, and I will see you next week. Bye.